How's everybody doing? My name's Mike, and we got Miss Ava hanging out with us today, and we also got my dog Roots hanging out with us today. So what we're doing right now is they're in their dens, so we call their crates. We refer to it as a den because we want owners to think of the crate as a den, because that's what they use in the wild. They use a den, and that pretty much looks like a cave. So it just doesn't have a front door. So the only difference when you're using a crate with your dog or a den is that you're using a front door, and we're doing that obviously to train the dog. Once the dog's trained, they can kind of do like my dog does, and this door to his den is open almost all the time. You know, I could leave and just leave this open for him, and he's not going to leave just because it's so well imprinted. So today what we're going to talk about is their feeding. The other thing I want you to notice is out front here, it's raining. It was storming really bad, and then it kind of let up. I tried to catch it while it was raining real bad, but the reason the rain is relevant is because Miss Ava has a lot of fear with the rain. Now, fear is genetic, so it's something that we can't eliminate, but with training, we minimize it. We can minimize it a whole lot. And she's actually doing very good right now. Before, when it rained, anytime she'd be huffing, puffing, and be very anxious, and we want to stop her from being anxious. She would go almost into a flight mode when the rain would come, like, you know, she would try to run away from wherever she is. And it's just not a healthy behavior. It becomes neurotic. They're not relaxed. And we want her like this. We want her to relax. And one of the strategies I use with her, good den, girl. Good job. Good den, buddy. And the reason I'm rewarding her is because she's being calm. So if they're calm, we can reward them. That is the whole goal. When they're excited, they're gonna bite, bark, or lunge. So we want to keep the dog as calm as possible. So when we feed the dog, I feed the dogs once a day, and we use water in their food bowls. It just helps me hydrate them to make sure they're getting plenty of water. And so yeah, the rain's very relevant. She has a big fear of rain, but she's very food driven. Like, she likes food. She'll eat food even if it's raining, which is very important, because there's a lot of dogs that if it's raining like that out there, they are not gonna eat their food. There's a lot of things that they won't want to do when it's raining. They'll just kind of shut down. And just feeding her during the rain is a positive thing for her, because it brings her into a normal state of mind, a healthy state of mind. She's driven for the food, and she doesn't worry about the rain. And but even if we're not feeding her, if it's raining, I might work with her and have her do some training stuff, and then right away, if there's rain, any sign of uncomfortableness from her, she goes directly into her crate, because we don't want the dog practicing being fearful. If she's in her crate, it's a small area that biologically they use this in the den to relax. So when we put her in there and it's raining, biologically, she actually is going to want to relax in there and not be so anxious. So if she learns every single time it's raining, she goes directly in the crate, then now she doesn't have to worry about making a decision on what to do when it rains. We're making the decision for her. This is where we want you when it rains. And you start to get a much better result when you're controlling her, and she doesn't have to worry about, you know, where am I going to go when it rains. We provide her a place to go. And in the crate, we have other rules. We use other tools to keep her calm. But for now, we're just going to talk about feeding during the crate. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. So I'm going to actually use this. I have this rolled up towel here. So this is actually one of the tools we use to keep them calm in the crate. So if I go to feed my dog, she like starts making a bunch of noise, I'm going to toss that over there at the crate, because she's not allowed to be excited during the feeding. And sometimes they get excited, but we want minimal excitement. So we'll go ahead and going. I let the dog go ahead and sniff the food, and then the food goes in there. I tap it and I release. So it's very important that with the dog that they don't take the food until we have See, I have my tool right there. I'm ready to use. If she gets very excited with me, I'm ready to use my tool, and I'll most likely just smack it against the crate. So sit, even though she's sitting, we don't say stay. We just say the word sit, because if we're saying stay, what are we saying? We're saying stay sitting. So we want to cut communication down and make sure she understands we want you to sit. And if we think she's gonna move, I'll repeat the word sit. If she breaks it, that's when I'll say no and give her a correction. That's how she learns the meaning of no. Good, sit, sit. So the food goes in, sit. Let me see if I can bend the camera here so you can see, sit. Okay, and then I tap the bowl and I release the bowl to her. It is hers after that. Once she is calm and the bowl's in the crate, and then she's waited and I've tapped the bowl. As soon as I tap the bowl, I release my hand from the bowl and I stand up away from the bowl. So the idea is, when the dog, say this is their bowl, when I have it in my hand, I go in the crate and I'm hunched over the bowl, my hands like over the bowl, like a dog would do in the wild, and it's mine. And then when I say okay, what happens is I say okay, and my body matches the words I'm saying, so they understand that I am releasing it to them. It's very important that your body matches the things you're saying to the dog, because after all, they do go off of body language. So we also want them eating in a calm way. I don't want her staring at my dog or looking over at my dog's food or anything like that. So the best thing to do is face the dogs both in the same direction, both in the same direction. Never face them to eat with each other. You never face dogs to eat head on. That will cause an absolute issue. And the best way to feed multiple dogs is in crates, and you can actually have them very close to each other, eating and stuff like that. The reason she's so spaced out from him is because sometimes she whines and I need to correct her with this rolled up towel, and I don't want to disturb my dog because he's not doing anything he needs to be corrected for. So I need to be able to clearly correct whichever one is doing the bad behavior. Yeah, so that's it for as far as feeding. You just want to make sure it's very controlled. A lot of people they'll make the dog wait for the food, but what will happen is they'll do it with so much excitement it negates the fact that they're waiting. It doesn't even really help what they're doing. So it has to be done in a very specific way for you to achieve calmness from the dog. It's not going to be done with any type of excitement. It has to be done in a very specific way.